stretching can be a really boring process, especially if you're not used to it, but it can also be very relaxing and very nice, especially if you do it in the morning. Most people get up feeling very tight and very unflexible, and today we're gonna try and do something about that with a very relaxing, stressless stretching routine where you can follow along. If you're ready, we're gonna start out with very easy exercises and we're gonna have a lot of relaxing fun, because if we don't, she will get angry and we will regret it. So if you're ready, let's get right into it. Just because I like you guys and I really want you to come back, we're gonna start out laying down on our backs, because there's a lot of things we can do without putting in too much effort. So let's start with putting one foot on our knee and pulling said knee closer. Now we have a nice little stretch in our gluteus. If you're very tight in your spinal erectors, meaning your lower back or your lumbar back, we're gonna have a little bit of a stretch there, and the outside of our quads or upper legs. You might even feel it a little bit in your hamstrings, depending on what kind of angle we are working on. So you can push your knee out or you can just hold it here. If you can't even pull your leg closer, you might leave your foot on the ground or pull from here instead of from your tibia. We're gonna hold this just for a couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and then we're gonna extend the same leg like so. And if you can, I want you to grab as high up as is possible for you. It's not as important to grab it all the way at the top of your toes. It is far more important to keep your leg extended, so we keep that stretch in our hamstrings and in our gastrocnemius soleus going. If you can't touch your toes, then pull them in actively to lengthen your Achilles tendon as well. Another 5, 3, 2, 1, and we're slowly gonna put it down and bring the other leg into one line with the foot on the ground. Left hand, right knee, and now we can go into some lumbar rotation, going into an even longer stretch for our glutes. And we're going to open this arm sideways because we want to keep both shoulders on the ground, which is far more important than bringing both knees down. This way you always know how far you have traveled in your stretch. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly come back up, because we're going to repeat the whole process on the other side. So left foot, right leg, and we're going to pull it in either behind our quads or at our tibia. And if you want to, if you do have a little bit more flexibility, you can start pushing your knee outward for a little bit more rotation in our hip joint. So here we would have internal hip rotation, and this way we have some more external hip rotation. Another 3, 2, 1, and extend the leg. And once again, we're gonna grab as high up as we can. Once again, I'm just saying it to make very sure that you know it's not about how far up we are grabbing. It's more about also getting into a stretching routine, so we can do this every single day, or if you don't have the time, at least once or twice a week, just to prime your body, loosen up and limber up, because you're gonna regret not doing it the older you get. Let's bring both of those legs into a singular line. Right hand, left knee, left arm extended to the side, palms to the ground. And now we can once again keep both shoulders on the floor, go into full lumbar rotation. Depending on how much flexibility you have, your range of motion is going to be longer or shorter. Take a couple of deep breaths, and that goes in general for all the stretching routines, especially the ones where we do static stretching, like so, holding a stretch for multiple seconds, maybe even 20 to 30 seconds. The best thing you can do is take deep breaths and try to relax your body as much as possible. So in and out. And we can release. Bring both legs closer to your body. A tiny stretch in our glutes, a tiny stretch in our lower back. Once again, you can even try and stay a little bit more in the dynamic range with very short range of motion. Another repetition here, and we're gonna hold it as closely as possible for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And from this position, we don't have to change a lot except for bringing both our feet together. And if you can, I want you to grab both of your feet and just keep your knees very relaxed. If you can't grab them this much forward, you can grab your legs from here and try to open your knees outwards into an external hip rotation. If you don't have even that kind of flexibility, there is no problem in having a wall right in front of you and placing your feet like so and moving closer. The more open and the more flexible you feel. So we're gonna hold this for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. We're still gonna stay on our backs. This time we're gonna extend both our legs. Keep the right leg on the ground. Extend your left leg all the way up here and try and pull it in extended without the addition of having our other foot pushing us down. So you can actively pull closer and closer, and then we're gonna pull in our toes once again. So we move the stretch from here to include it here as well. And you might even be able to grab your toes for another 5, 4, 3, and you notice my other leg is slowly raising, and whenever you notice this, try and push it back down again and keep it on the ground. You might have to really flex your glutes to be able to do that, but that's good because we're also learning to activate and strengthen specific muscles on command. So let's let go here and switch it up. Extended leg, pull it in as close as you can. Pull in your toes, and if it's possible, grab and push the other leg down, and we're gonna hold statically. As always, you can even hold it here. It doesn't really matter as long as you actively pull in your toes. If this is your range of motion, totally fine. Don't worry about it. Over time, we're going to increase our range of motion, especially if you do this routine again and again and again. 3, 2, 1, and release. Let's pull both of those feet closer once again and pull them in all the way as closely as possible. You can put both arms around, hold for another 5, 2, 1, and done. And now we can sit up and see what we're going to be doing in the seated position. When sitting down for the upcoming stretches, I would recommend a very relaxed Turkish seat. If you can sit in the lotus position. If you cannot pull both of your legs closer, you can just extend them like so, because there are a lot of people who can't actually sit upright if their legs are in front of them. They might have to lean backwards, which is okay, it's not that bad. We're gonna get better with time. But if you can, semi-lotus position or relaxed Turkish seat position is gonna be really good for this, because we're gonna use our own body to push us deeper into a stretch. So we're gonna take our right hand, cross over our left leg, and put it all the way on the ground. And now we're gonna use our arm to push us deeper into a lumbar rotation. And once we are at the very end of our range of motion, we're gonna do 1 or maybe even 2 very deep breaths, including our diaphragm, meaning we breathe in, we totally extend our belly. And when breathing out, we wanna totally pull it in again and push us deeper into the rotation. One more time. And let go. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Left hand, palms down, crossing over our right leg and go into full rotation. Use our arm as leverage to push us deeper into lumbar rotation. And 2 deep breaths in and out all the way. In, out, all the way, and let go. Let's do this one more time for both sides. Turn to the left, full lumbar rotation. 1 deep breath in, push it all the way out. And one more time to the other side. I'm already getting into a sweat here. In, out, and let go. And we want to move forward, but stay very relaxed. I don't want you to actively pull your body down. I just want you to relax your back and especially your neck musculature as much as you can. Just let it hang loose. Take 1 or 2 deep breaths for relaxation's sake. And we're going to bring both hands right here on top of our head, extend our upper body just slightly and pull our neck into a longer position. And slowly extend it. Again, we have our final change in positions and now we're going to be done for today. So, moving into starting position. I have no idea what you call it in English. In German, it's a Vierfußstand, meaning you're standing on all 4. We're going to turn our hands outwards so our elbows are right there pointing at our quads. And we're going to start out in a spinal extension position. So just so you know, this is spinal extension. Rounding your back is spinal flexion, and we're gonna have a couple of bony inside of this movement. So starting out in spinal extension, when breathing in, we want to turn our hands inward so our elbows flare outward. This is going to give us a little bit more range of motion to lengthen our shoulders and round that back a little bit more. Let your head hang loose, and of course we're going to tilt our pelvis forward by flexing our abdominals and our glutes. Lengthen your shoulders as much as you can, and when breathing out, we're gonna switch again into extension. So let's do this a couple of times together. Breathing in, flexion, and breathing out, extension. You've probably seen this a lot in yoga classes, especially if you've watched any of mine or any of the spinal mobility workouts that I have posted, because the cat-cow position switch is one of the best things you can do for your spine, especially if you do it in the morning and right before going to sleep. Loosen up the spine, especially said especially like 10 times by now. Especially after you've had a long day of sitting down at the office or in your home office. Last time. Breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in this time, sitting back all the way. Extend your arms as much as you can. We have our legs a little bit wider than shoulder width apart because we want to push our upper body down as closely to the ground as possible and move our hips backwards. Some of you might be able to sit them down all the way on the ground. That would be absolutely amazing. Other than that, we want to keep our arms extended so we have a nice little stretch in our deltoids, in our chest insertions. You might even feel it in your biceps depending on how unflexible you are. I'm gonna hold it here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and switch from here. Forward and push your hips down actively, which means you have to flex your lower body, you have to flex your glutes, and keep your upper body extended by lengthening your shoulders. So we're gonna do this again with breathing in, sitting back all the way, pushing down actively, and breathing out, coming forward and pushing our pelvis down towards the ground, stretching our hip flexors while strengthening our posterior chain. Breathing in, Sit back. And breathing out. Come forward. We have one final round of this exercise. Breathing in. Breathing out. And sit back down again. From here we have one final, pretty much a very relaxing exercise. We want to bring our upper body down like so. We're going to take our left arm and cross it over, bringing our shoulder and our palm all the way down to the ground. Now it's very important to push your hips back as much as you can. Then we're gonna open our right arm by using our left arm as leverage for more rotation. We have a slight lumbar, slight thoracic rotation, but we have a little bit of a stretch in our chest and shoulder insertions, as well as required strength in our rear delts, in our traps, and in our latissimus by opening up sideways, which is a nice little bonus because every time we stretch an agonist, we are strengthening an antagonist and vice versa. So 3, 2, 1, and let's reverse this into the other direction. We're gonna bring our shoulder and our arm down like so and open our left side all the way towards the ceiling and sitting back as much as we can. Yeah, I just forgot the word for ceiling. I'm sorry, this is not my first language, but I try just for you. Another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come back forward again. And I have just an additional exercise for our shoulders and for our entire posterior chain. We're gonna bring our toes on the ground. We're gonna switch from here into a semi-downward dog, meaning we don't want to extend our legs fully. This is gonna stretch our hamstrings and our gastroconcilius a little bit more, but what we want to do is keep a tiny little bend and push our chest towards our legs as much as we can. We're taking off pressure from here so we can concentrate more on our upper body, opening our chest, opening our shoulders, taking a deep breath in and out. And relaxing fully just for a couple of seconds. And this way we've gone through our morning routine in a more relaxed way than what I do usually, right? Did you enjoy that? Yeah, you wanted to get in there, I know. So I hope this was somewhat helpful. If you like the video and subscribe. Be sure to do it as often as you can, because the more limber you are, the higher your quality of life will be. And I want you to have a good life. I want you to have a long life, so you can watch those videos more often and join us with a subscription. With that said, Captain Cairo, peace out. Say bye, Cookie.